jelas, tapi belum ada spray down yang dilakukan karena masih ada jarak yang begitu jauh.
Yes, betul. Dan terpantau juga dari arah bagian checkpoint morph ini memang seringkali mereka jadikan sebuah checkpoint untuk bisa memantau pergerakan dari arah tim-tim lain, terutama dari Onyx yang juga turun drop zone di arah bagian Georgiopol, perumahan di belakang kontainer yang ditempatin oleh tim Morph. Jadi mereka seringkali untuk mengawasi pergerakan dari arah tim-tim lain, dan untuk saat ini mereka juga masih dibuat nyaman dengan circle yang pertama.
Dan ternyata satu player dari Morph masih tertahan di pinggiran sungai, di mana kita melihat Jaquez bakal sedikit tertahan, bakal mendapatkan hambatan karena dia jauh dari temannya, dan masih ada dua player dari Onyx yang bertahan di bagian rumah garasi yang sudah terdengar bunyi tembakan. Nah, ini Jaquez bakal menahan saja, bakal memberikan informasi, menunggu apakah akan ada regroup atau dia menunggu dulu dua player dari Onyx bakal melepas. Oh, ternyata dia masih bisa melalui bagian lower ground dari pinggiran sungai, Windy.
Yes, betul. Tapi nampaknya tadi dari arah Onyx juga berusaha untuk nge-zoning out aja karena tim Morph biar mereka nggak memasuki area yang sudah ditahankan oleh tim Onyx. Dan kali Rosezi juga berusaha untuk memberatkan beberapa tappingan fire-nya tadi karena tim Morph, walaupun masih belum bisa melukai dan cukup membuat dari Morph juga mereka mengamankan karena bagian checkpoint yang kalau misalkan kita lihat di sini juga masih cukup nyaman. Sementara dari arah tim 69
Every second that I breathe is going down in history. We are victorious, can't stop me. Maybe today we'll fight our battles, show you the way if you can handle it. You follow me.
I'm back with a plan, start with a pen, Nickel, I be the man. Back to the battle, the last man standing. Who would've thought that I had what it takes? Put the whole city on my shoulder, going crazy. Back to the pump, with the keep in the G. Victory lap, with a ride with the team. Stay good sport and smoke with the E. Aim for the high school, really got me.
PMGC 2021 Grand Finals
To glory.
Every second that I breathe is going down in history. We are victorious, can't stop me. Maybe today we'll fight our battles. I'll show you the way if you can handle it. You follow me.
Yeah. Ready? Strap up. Yeah. Free falling. It's ready for what I'm preaching. Nothing but heaters is in the pick. I'm off from a distance like. Up and get the drop on. Roll up with the squad on. How you gon' survive when we ride? You can't hide or run. Tryna stall, but your time will come. We gon' ride it together, better than riding alone. Stuck inside of the zone, but before we head home, I'm right with my scope, and then right where to go. Yeah, if I miss, I don't quit, so best stay in the zone. Yeah, coming at you like I got nothing to lose. Clearly I might be missing a couple screws. Call me the handyman, cause I'm known for carrying tools. Ain't a problem that I can't fix, please don't get it confused. Yeah. 6 million ways to try, which would you choose? Many hope to stop our team, but we refuse. Act like you want it, bet y'all get it. Winner, chicken dinner is about to get barbaric. Can't call me, saw your grace pain and walk it on. Meanwhile, these cowards are praying, we call it all, never not at all. In it to win it, we'll keep trying. The zone's closing in and we're watching the signs flying. No loud sirens coming to save you, you better forfeit. Artists with the shotty, I paint a picture that's forming. Ready, ugly, this ain't funny, but they nearly struck me too. They must be feeling lucky, spraying anybody that move. About to hit these dummies, get them money before they get you. Revenge is coming, so one of us will take out your crew. Bring it back. Enemies ahead, about to put her in and they chop. Survival of the fittest, the only mission that matters. My sharpest a dagger, my mama ain't raised a stacker. Coming in high and heavy to break them and make them scatter. Made a pattern that's ready for what I'm preaching. Nothing but heaters, listen to pick them off from try to stall, but your time will come. Yeah, we got the drop on them. Yeah, roll up with the squad on them, and we going hard to survive the night. We ride, we try to hide and run. Curtain call, dog, your time is done.
Homes are now where we work, learn, and, play? Oops. Homes are where we build spaces to call our own. Power on and beyond with Singapore's most trusted broadband.
see action. I see drama. And I see it in the finest detail. Moments of inspiration. And the first steps. I am the 1+9.
After an exciting day of action, we're back for day 2 of the PUBG Mobile Global Championship 2021 Grand Finals. I'm your host, Miles Moretti. Allow me to first thank our amazing hosts, Tencent Games, Krafton, and Lightspeed and Quantum Studios. Our tournament organizer, VSPN, as well as our incredible global sponsors, YouTube Gaming and OnePlus. With flagship performance, an immersive 120Hz display, and hyper-touch technology made specifically for gamers. The OnePlus 9 and 9 Pro are your best shot to climb those leaderboards. Thanks as well to our local sponsors, Fairmont Singapore, Singtel, the Singapore Tourism Board, and the Singapore Games Association. Yesterday, we got our first look at how the East and West teams matched up and took our first step towards crowning a PMGC champion. Today, they'll hop right back in the plane and do it all over again.
We gotta sacrifice one.
Oh. That just got dark real quick. Okay, fair
Yeah,
enough,
I mean, to be fair, it's just day one. However, on the back of Frozen, we have seen Ruya really step up here in this very first day of play. However, if he's going to be mean to you, I'll be mean to him for you. S2G7, you were talking them up. S2G is going to be the team to beat. Where are they? Are they in the lobby?
I know this was coming. I said after the third game, they needed a little bit more time, and they did not improve, okay? Today will be the day. If not, I might have to shave my head alongside with Max.
Well, if it's not today, it'll be tomorrow. If it's not tomorrow, it'll be next year, or this year, I guess. You can see the format if you missed out on yesterday's action. We have 3 days of play, 6 matches a day, meaning we only have 12 left to go. At the very end of it, the #1 team in points will be our champion and win $1.5 million. Max, that is a lot of money, a lot of pressure at stake here, and for the likes of Ruya, their first big international event like this on a global scale, for them to be in first place and to just almost grasp right now that money, they have to be feeling the heat.
I remember last PMGC, I was talking about some regions that we would like to see potentially improve throughout the year and get there. One of the regions was the Arabic region, and also the teams from Turkey. We saw great things from Futbolist. Unfortunately, they are not here.
Hold on. We saw great things from Clash Digital Athletics.
Also, true, Class DA. But, okay, Futbolist not here. Class DA did really good. But now they're back into this one, and they're trying to go for that first place, and they did really good for the Turkish region.
Yeah, let's hammer home that point then. We talked about football so long when it comes to PUBG Mobile Esports, and then we had Class Digital Athletics come into likes with Silas, who is over playing here currently in PMGC. Yeah. And now we're seeing even more teams. What was it, 3 more teams from Turkey coming through here, 7? Like, Turkey is such a dominant region, has so much potential and so many great players.
They definitely do. I mean, they almost had 4 teams qualify here to this grand finals. The one question that I do have with Ruya, and it's been a big question mark for me, is they have been relying so much in regards to Frozen being able to frag out, right? Yeah. Frozen currently has 15 ilms. Out of the whole team, the whole team has 35 ilms, so he's contributing 43% towards those ilms. If for some reason he gets eliminated early, how is the team going to be able to react to that?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a really good point, because during the interview that we had yesterday, he did mention about how the team was able to set him up properly, and it is really good because, sure, he had that 1v3 clutch versus Damwon. There was really good execution, but to get in such a position, you need to have an initial setup, and his team is doing so much work without that squad, doing so well to prepare him for this type of engagements. I do not believe Ruya would be so high up in the overall ranking.
Whoa.
So if they can keep that synergy up there, they could still remain in first place.
To be fair, right, most people would say about Nova, if you take out Paraboy, the Nova are nothing. However, we've seen Order step up. He was our 2nd place in MVPs. However, I think you're obviously right here. We're not seeing that 2nd player necessarily step up in that same kind of capacity as we've seen over the likes of Nova. But we can see here over rankings at the end of the first day, 76 points currently in first place, Ruya. But 7, you mentioned something about Nova yesterday that really sticks with me. they've been quiet. They've been just kind of just lurking in the shadows, waiting for their time to strike, and they're sitting in second place with 0 chicken dinners at the moment.
And the craziest part, actually, in regards to Nova Esports was the last 2 matches. In the last 2 matches, they were the team that was able to gather the most points. They were able to gather 38 points, which was almost getting very close to half of their points for the whole day. So an impressive turn up. And this is something we were actually talking about. We're kind of joking around it, saying Nova will definitely show up in second day. They're currently just gathering information. Well, guess what? Nova currently doesn't have any chicken dinners, and they're in second place. So they're setting themselves up really good for today.
Yeah, just a 9-point difference away from that first place. They might be able to overtake that position, but from what we saw also from Frozen yesterday, he said, we hope that we can remain in that first place. It's not going to be a given. And once again, talking about the top place, it was next to Ruya. These stats are highly impressive. Average rank is 5.5. That is some extreme consistency when you really think about it, but down to that clutch versus down one, once again, you have that also clutch factor, which is very, very important, and those 35 elims. If they can just even have a day that is remotely close to what they did in day one, that first place should be fine. But as we said, Nova are very silent, are going to be the big threat to next Ruya's position today.
I mean, for next Ruya, though, it's important to remember that this is a 3-day competition.
Yep.
1 day of points will not get you the championship title. Like we've seen before, we've seen teams who, I think it was S2G we're talking about the other day, 7, like in Super Weekend, they put up like 200 points. Like, all right, we can just skate through. We don't have to try too hard. No, you can't do that here. You cannot, rest on your points that you're currently sitting on. And next year, you have to continue to maintain the pace they set for day 1 into day 2.
I mean, there's a perfect example already in the tournament with a team that has done that. And I think the first one that comes to mind has to be Nigma Galaxy. This is a team that started off very, very strong. I think the first 3 matches, if I'm not mistaken, they ended up second place, first place, which is impressive. But then after that, they just had such a big drop-off, not only in regards to the placement points, but also in regards to the elims. For them, they were only able to gather 2 elims in those last 3 matches, and that's just going to hurt them big time.
Yeah, I think we saw something happen during the league stage where they actually got themselves only 1 point in 1 day for the first Super Weekend, so don't want that to try and come back too hard.
As we're mentioning, Frozen, when he's out, who can step up in the
46.
team? And we're seeing really no one else is able to match his KDA. You pointed out 43% of the eliminations here for next year have come from him alone, but I mean, look at the rest of the team. There is no one pushing that 2-point threshold. However, a 1.8 KDA is still damn good. Don't get me wrong, but we are worried if Frozen goes out early. Can anyone else step up to that same kind of level?
I would love to know if you agree, actually, 7. The way I would potentially compare this to is to the side of Alpha 7, and we mentioned this many times, how Carrillo has that really big clutch factor. He is normally the main fragger for the team, but we saw, especially on that first Miramar game where Alpha 7 came out on top, that even where Carrillo's not there, they can clutch it out. They can get those big frags, especially Senatexa down to that 1v1 was clutch. So I think we need to see something a little bit more similar for next Ruya, and if they can improve on that aspect of the game, their first place should be a lot easier to hold on to.
And I would actually love to see it, maybe within the first 2 matches, to see how that team reacts if they do lose Frozen early, right? Because that will just be a bigger picture for us to see what's going to be happening in the next couple days. You don't want that to happen in the last day, especially if you have Nova starting to get hot.
I mean, for Frozen, I mean, such a young player to compete on this global scale for the first time, it's very difficult to do so, but he's been thriving in this situation, just like Nova have been as well. You can see they're a little bit behind in average eliminations. They're ahead, though, in average damage, really showing that this is a team who mechanically is so skilled that you can never underestimate them.
And I think a big part of that average damage, we've been talking about him for a long time. He's one of my favorite ones to watch. It has to be Paraboy. Even though he's currently not leading in regards to elims, he does have 2,900 damage in comparison to Frozen that he is leading in elims. Frozen only has 2,100 damage, so you can see the output that Paraboy is currently putting out, Max.
Yeah, also the extra survival time he's been able to get. Paraboy in terms of the race to MVP position, that, by the way, it's an extra $10,000 US for that MVP position. So far, Paraboy is looking extremely good. And there you go, got the stats you talk about them. 7 perfect timing, total eliminations, just 1 difference. But if he can stack up a little bit more damage on his side, Frozen could be snatching away that top place for the MVP, because average team contribution otherwise is really close. You can really see the impact. But the cool thing for Nova, and we mentioned it earlier, they do not have only one player, and you said it, Jason, you also have Order that's been doing so good yesterday. If they can keep having these 2 players perform on that level, they might be able to just push themselves right above next Ruya.
I mean, the thing is, this has been so consistent with Paraboy across the East League, right? We talked about, they had a week where they were 16th place, and yet Paraboy in particular was rivaling the team in first place with the Infinity in terms of damage, in terms of eliminations. And we need to start to really break down at least our top 3 teams, because there is some big discrepancies between these two, or between these 3, I should say. With Nova and Nexria, you can see the placement points difference of only 6, even though Nexria have a chicken dinner and Nova don't. And then as you were mentioning before, 7, we see towards Nigma Galaxy, only 20 eliminations, and a majority of those, over half of those, coming from the first 3 matches alone.
Yeah, actually, a stat that you pointed out to me, Max, that
I
feel
gave
like
a stat.
I feel like we had to point it out.
correct?
I gotta give you credit, okay? They ended up getting 57 points out of their 64 points just in the first 3 games. And that's just kind of going back to what I was saying. If you're going to have such a performance there at the start, you have to be able to follow up, not just on the first half of the day, you got to be able to follow up on the second half of the day, and they just weren't able to do that.
Yeah, that's the thing with Nigma Galaxy. They have really high highs and really low lows. If they can stay out the highs, they can be a really impressive team. So hopefully they can remain on that point today.
Yeah, remaining on that point and hopefully remaining on those high highs. Maybe the special skin as well, the PMGC skin, can help you do so. The outfit coming through, Max, how much have you tried to get it just yet, or are you waiting to test your luck later on?
I'll do it in the green room. I'll do it after. I am ready. I got my 1+ ready to go, and I'm ready to lose.
Well, you never have to settle when you use a 1+. Don't worry, and you will get yourself that lovely outfit here in a few. I mean, I'm pretty sure 7's already got it. He came into this event saying, you know what, I'm going to get this right away, and he's been bragging about it.
I'm waiting to get back home. Okay, that's where my luck is.
But I mean, and there's also the Scar as well that looks phenomenal in game, and there's a lot of great skins coming into PUBG.
There is, I mean, the Scar L. Oh my, the hit-on effect. That's one of the best ones so far, and that's the one that I'm definitely gonna be looking at. You know, if you want to watch that video on Some World's Gaming on YouTube.
Yeah, you can follow you there. Not to mention, also follow us here as well over PUBG Mobile Esports over on YouTube, and the plethora of social media channels we have with Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and of course TikTok as well. And funny enough, you know, not only can you follow PUBG Mobile Esports on TikTok, I think 7, you have a TikTok, right?
I do. Thank you.
Jason,
This is the 7WG on TikTok.
Okay, yeah, you can remember PayPal me.
I will. I got you.
For that one. But you guys at home, you know, we've been talking about a lot of these different stats as well here on the show, and I want to remind you guys, it actually is a chance for you guys as well to follow along and maybe find exactly what you want to see when it comes to our esports station. You can head over to esports.pubgmobile.com/esports station and actually check out any stats you want to see in particular. We need to get a stat in there based on like our predictions, and I'm pretty sure all 3 of us would be. Actually, no, Max, you did get one right yesterday, didn't you?
I got 2.
You got Stalwart right.
And I got the 3rd game too. I got Nigma Galaxy on the Sanhok game.
Okay, don't look up those stats, though. I'm glad we don't have those, because I don't want to see Max beating us in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, to bring it back to this, I mean, we were talking about a lot of the teams towards the top, but there's a lot of teams down towards the bottom that were really let down on so far. Navi in particular, we saw them have a great victory when it came to match 5 yesterday over on Miramar. As you see, that's going to be coming up as the 5th one yet again. But they only jumped up to like 9th place from towards the bottom of the table. And that's showing that 1 win is not going to be enough to propel you into these top echelons placings. You got to have the consistency, and you're running out of matches here, 7.
They definitely are. And I was kind of glad. I think we both sighed a little bit in relief when they were able to get that chicken dinner. And then some of the other teams that I need to talk about, I mean, we got to talk about Fenerbahce. Like, what happened to this team? This is one of the teams that was the most consistent out of West, and they're truly nowhere to be seen. And another team that I know you're very big on, for Rivals, I feel like some things were going their way. I have to, Max.
Bro,
but
come
it was
on.
just too sloppy for me. I wonder if they do get into engagements today, hopefully they went back, look at the tape, and they're going to be improving on those pushes.
They're going to get a win. I don't know when it's going to happen.
Why are you going to curse them like that? We have the Max Men curse, and it's going to be coming back into fruition. But to be fair to them, it's got to be frustrating, right? Never getting that chicken dinner, never closing things out. And you need those points. You need those 15 points if you want to climb up the leaderboards.
Yeah, for Rivals, if you want me to stop mentioning you, got my PayPal, we got the info. Just hit me up.
Okay, you know what? Maybe they will. Maybe they'll tell you to stop cursing. Like I think some other teams did. I think it was Stalwart even pointed you out on their social media game.
It's true, yeah.
By the way, you guys at home, OnePlus, if you guys didn't know, is actually our sponsor. The OnePlus 9 Pro gives you ultra smooth gaming with 90 FPS, and when you use a OnePlus, you never have to settle. I wish I could just grab the phone here and put it in my pocket, though. I don't think my pockets are that big, as you can see how giant it is next to us, but make sure to check them out. The players loving it, as well as they're participating with them here in the show. But you know, again, a couple of other teams, they really need to figure some things out here. They really need to stop struggling, and one way to do so, maybe they're being too pampered, actually, at the Fairmont Hotel over in Singapore. We've been actually, you know, supporting all of our players here, giving them great access and pampering them at any need they possibly could have. I want to get a mani-pedi together, though I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah,
what
we
is
definitely
that?
can.
I don't know.
Mani-pedi?
What?
I have no idea.
It's okay.
So it's
We're
a
gonna
manicure
teach
and a pedicure.
Oh, okay. Oh, I did not know that was a thing. Okay, there you go.
Well,
I'm learning.
You could have given it a guess, though I don't know if it would have been as lucky. As you guys at home, we do have the lucky guess currently happening. You can use your PMGC tokens to actually guess who's going to be winning throughout the day, and you can win more for yourself, so make sure to check that out. All you need to do is just click the link in-game or the icon in-game to give your opportunity. Just don't follow our predictions. Maybe Max's, because they've been really good. Even though we've changed it to teams to watch, no longer predictions, because you're so bad at it.
I can't win with you. We'll just
Maybe
change
that's
it.
why, because we change it.
Maybe we should call predictions again, Max.
I'm cool with this. I like where we are right now, so let's keep it like this.
Okay. No, I respect it. All right, let's start to hammer on a couple other teams, though. We have a little bit of time here. Alpha 7.
Yes.
Go ahead, 7.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad you mentioned. I was waiting for. I was like, come on, Jason, please say Alpha 7. The reason why I want to talk about them is because this team is known for being aggressive. Currently, the discrepancy in elims. I mean, the first two teams, 35 elims, right? Second place team, 32 elims, and then you go all the way down to Alpha 7. They currently have 24 elims. We did see some flashes, as you were saying. Some players are starting to step up. I would like to see more out of them. I want to see more out of Revo. Where is Revo currently at? Where is Mafioso? We saw Senatexa being able to clutch up that win yesterday.
Where's Carrillo been?
I mean, currently he is in contention a little bit to the MVP, but not to the likes of what we're used to seeing out of them. And another thing to mention with Alpha 7 is I feel like the win definitely saved their day yesterday. If they didn't get that first place chicken dinner, it would have been an atrocious day one for them. And the reason why I'm saying that is because yesterday, most of the time, they were just averaging 11th place. If they didn't get that win, it would have been a lot worse.
Yeah, and talking about wins, actually, one team that did also get himself only one win and that mostly saved their day also was actually Stalwart, right? They got himself that first win on the first game with 14 eliminations apiece, which is a really good shot from them on the very first game of the tournament. But after that, they still got themselves 3 top 5 positions, which is super consistent, but their highest fragging game was 6 eliminations, right? Without that win, they would be way low in the rankings, so I want to see just a little bit more potentially podium finishes, a few top 3s, because they've been playing great as they always do, but I want to see those chicken dinners potentially coming in a little bit harder today so they can try and rank up a little bit higher than 4th.
I mean, I just want to see some other teams get some chicken dinners, in particular as we talk about our teams to watch here. For me, I'm looking at Godlike. Last place team at the moment. I mean, I know I talked day one. They were my team to watch at the very first match as well, but we need to see more out of this team. Sure. Because if they don't turn their stripes around here, if they don't start to turn their fate around, then they're not going to have a chance to break through. But I will give them this. Like, it doesn't matter where they place. A lot of respect to them because they're under a lot of pressure representing India. The first time we've seen India at a global scale like this in over a year's time, like pretty much 2 years' time, right? They have a tough job ahead of them. They're not godlike. They're Team India right now, and they need to live up to it.
Exactly. One thing that I've seen when I was looking back on the VODs about Godlike, I remember that first game we saw that push on Alpha 7 on the bridge. They are in their meta, in the meta in India is very stacked. You're all playing on top of each other and you're just pushing as a team. You don't go for these wide spreads, and I think that is something they are currently lacking in their approach to the game. If they can just send a scout a little bit further away or go for 2-2 splits, I think that would give them a huge advantage in information and also angles they might be able to provide for themselves in those fights. So if they can work on that specifically today, they might be able to push themselves out of that top 16 because we want to see them higher. Come on.
Something that I did enjoy, though, was their confidence.
Well,
they were not afraid to take a
to
fight.
cut you off there because we need to get your guys' teams to watch as well. 7, since Max just went on for a 3-minute spiel.
Mine's going to be Nova. It has to be Nova. I mean, the way they finished off yesterday, I feel like we had them coming today and getting that chicken dinner, and I feel like once they get that chicken dinner, if a team is not able to step it up besides next Ruya, it's going to get very scary in this lobby.
All right, Max, who do you got?
Next Ruya, I looked at the interview a few times, and he did mention that they wanted to remain in that first place, so if they want to show it here, they've got to get chicken dinner on the first game, or at least get the good position, so next Ruya all the way.
Well, my question is, did Frozen get his hand exercises in today as he was talking about? To be fair, I mean, you're laughing, but it's very true, right? Yeah. You need to keep your hands fresh, everything limber and ready to go. And speaking of ready to go, we're ready to go. We got John out and Blank to cover the first match of the day here of day 2 of PMGC.
And we're going right on into it. Thank you very much, Jason and the guys on the desk, looking fine as hell as ever. But we're going to be going over Erangel, apparently, in this first game of the day to kick things off. Next Ruya, still sat at the top.
I honestly, every time we get that cheering from the crowd, it puts me off just a little bit. I'm like, whoa, who's cheering right? Is it for me? No, it's for
Get
the
out my
team.
kitchen.
No, what? Are you from the kitchen right now? You got your kitchen studio on? Look, these teams, they've been cooking up some big points today and yesterday. They're looking to go for gold. That's Nova in particular. But look at this, average points in Erangel. Next Ruya with 17 average points. What are these numbers?
It is fairly nuts. Over 6 games as well. That's impressive to being able to keep it up over that 15-point mark. I mean, generally at the top spot, you do see just sort of hovering, I think sort of 14s, 13s towards the end of these series. So the question is, how much more distance can they go on this average? Because it is right now phenomenal to be able to keep up a 17-point average. We'll see if they're able to repeat that performance, but plenty of other teams biting at their heels playing.
Absolutely, and welcome to day 2. I know the desk is doing a fantastic job at, introducing this, what's all going down, making sure to get all those juicy little extras in there as well. There's going to be some extras here on the broadcast, so make sure you're checking out for those lower thirds, those little graphics coming out on the screen. We'll let you know exactly what they do mean. Stalwart on our screen at the moment, down towards Nova Neuer. This is day 2, match 7, Erangel.
Slow and steady for the start of it, but a south circle is going to be given to us. No one really heading too far north of the river just yet, but I expect Team Secret to be blasting out that way. A lot of military island is in this circle, but likely going to have to move away from that position, try and reposition away from there. The Infinity, Stalwart, both going to have to make those moves. No one hot dropping with them this time around, but Na'Vi and Godlike pretty close to one another, as is Team Secret vying for those vehicles.
Yeah, looking for them nice and early here, trying to pick up whatever they can. They are fairly surrounded at this point in time, though. I believe we do have our first knock and flush of the game coming through very shortly over towards the top side of North George. So we'll see what actually happens over there. Matic being very much out of the way. Here's Fredo, goes down. That will be quite a quick flush coming through.
I mean, we saw Na'Vi have a little bit of strength displayed towards the end of yesterday's games. It's good to see them coming back on in. Maybe they're packing those new PMGC Scar L skins that Seven was talking about on the desk, and those PMGC premium crates. Maybe.
Yeah, you would expect Silas Pew Pew to have the laser skin, right? That would make sense to me. Maybe he can clutch it out with this one, but it is 628 and him all in his lonesome with the Sharks encircling him at the moment. See if he can get away. I'm not sure about it. He does have some fair bit of loot on hand, 3 first aid kits, so he can weather the storm just a little bit. But when you got 4 rifles looking your way, a little bit more spicy than you might have liked.
Yeah, it's at least 3 peppers on the menu. It's not looking good.
3 peppers?
3 peppers.
Spicy. What kind of peppers are we talking?
Oh, chili pepper. Like on a menu for a takeaway?
Yeah.
When you get anything that spices, certainly in England, I don't know about around the rest of the
3
world.
3 peppers. Well,
like
to be
the 3
fair,
peppers on the menu.
Oh, I've got you. Well, to be fair, at the moment, we've got Silas Pugh. He's currently been the ghost pepper at the moment, staying out of dodge, staying hidden, staying a little bit ethereal here. And he's actually able to get out of the way of 628. They don't check that rooftop, but worried there might be some more teams. In the meantime, S2G have actually been able to get into position. This is really, really good stuff. Nice regroup there. Next Ruya flies through with a Vector on board. Ice shot immediately hits the deck. Team Secret not having a good start to their game here, already down 2 players.
Moving on through, and of course, if you're watching live and seeing them move through, you can earn those rewards with the Grand Finals Treasure Box, available until January 30th. So you've still got 8 more days. Got a little bit of time. Got a little bit of time to be getting that on.
In the meantime, S2G have managed to get out of dodge. This is great stuff for them. That's one of those awkward beginnings where things could go bad. But now with 628 heading on Quarry side, which is their general drop spot regularly for all leagues, now S2G can pretty much take up position over towards Ferry Pier. Might be a little less standoffish between these 2 teams now as they head in separate directions. Nova, though, over towards Gaka. Now, Seven was talking about them on the desk, how he's got to back them all the way. And, I have to agree with Seven. I think Nova has been having a big step up. I think next Ruya, there was perhaps a little bit of some misgivings there towards Miramar. Honestly, it was one of those weird things where you're rotating. Sometimes you get a player shot out the vehicle, and that is just the way it goes on Miramar, sadly. For Nova, on the other hand, though, they're still slightly behind in terms of points. 9 points behind, but 10 now with that additional elimination coming through in this game from next Ruya. But we'll see how things go down.
Still the lion's share of these games left to play, of course, with 12 still yet to be played. Look at that jumper trying to give the camera the slip as well as everyone else.
I'm leaving. You can't follow me. Fortunately, we're stuck to his back like a magnet.
Oh dear, yeah. It's unfortunate for him that we have complete control of what we look at in this game. Down one, very, very central near Potato Hill in this sort of the logging compound there. They should just be fairly safe and secure for now. The question is, where does the next shift go? It's a great launching point for rotations into the future of their game.
Yeah, and I mean, with Down one having a lot of success recently with that central playstyle, this circle's a little bit more favorable towards them. Can move over towards Pachinki side, but most likely won't, knowing that Nigma Galaxy holds that. I think they played on that north side, but we will be getting a Paraboy interview here, John.
It's going to be covering.
对于我来说，可能会自己站在一个更大一个舞台上，然后再次获得了一个冠军，再一次的荣誉加身。粉丝的话，可能是大家再一次的为我高兴，再一次的欢呼。
There you are. A couple of wise words from the man himself, the top MVP candidate right now, Paraboy.
I mean, he's looking fine. He's looking good. I mean, that's what it's all about, right? You look good in game, you look good out of game. That's the way to be. That's right now, boys. I am a Paraboy simp. That's how it works. No, the guy is generally very well spoken and tends to hold himself very well on camera and in game, and I think that's a very admirable thing to be able to do. Though he has had a lot of experience with that type of work also, so it does make sense in a way. Hopefully, Nova continue to put up those kind of performances. I do think that if we look at the stats, Order has also been putting in a massive amount of work for that team, so it's no longer just all on Paraboy's shoulders, which is lovely to see. And this is typically when Nova start to do very well. A7 though, just not having the best of luck with these rotations at the moment. They look a little bit clumsy, a little bit messy. I'm not sure I like to see it.
Oh, it's unfortunate they're getting cut down. One of the players going down. To a Team Secret player as well. We've lost 2 so far. Another team's taking shots right now as they start to rotate. Actually, fairly centrally. We've got about 5 teams pretty much in the center here on the southeast side of Pachinki, sort of trying to control these areas. 4 rivals sending into a position. Going to be pretty close to Fenerbahce here, though.
I mean, these rotates typically are pretty decent for 4 rivals, and I'll mention it again because I think 4 rivals is a team that typically can get to that 20-minute mark, right? They stick around. They're a stick-arounder team, and that's typically what happens in most of these games. And I would say that they are a middling of the pack team. They get towards the end of the game, and again, it's just that case of get this first good positioning, and then there is almost a hesitation to actually hit anywhere else. Right now, they're taking shots over towards S2G, though. I'm happy with this. Cannot fault them for it. Trying to do a little bit damage down towards that compound itself and maybe make a home for themselves later. Pretty grim circle so far, but can it get grimmer, John?
I would imagine so. If it goes... Oh, I would say that's probably one of the grimmer shifts. I think having that split across the mainland and that military island, I imagine the Infinity... what do you do here? I mean, do you want to commit to being on that mainland, or are you going to bank on having that path down to a south shift if it comes through?
I mean, typically, if I'm playing at a high level here, I am banking on the northern coast, just because there are so many more compounds over towards Sosnovka on that northern side that you can pick up, play on the beachhead. So it's much easier to rotate from north to south. Whereas if you've got like a position where you can fairly easily hold on the north side, you don't want to give that up right too early. Because if we do get this shift towards that northern side, then you're not going to be in the worst of worlds. If it shifts down to the south, again, you're not going to be the worst of worlds. You're going to be easily finding a position on Sosnovka. So at the moment, we have Team Secret still up in Severny, though. Godlike coming down from Yasnaya. Now, Jason said something very important on the desk, and I absolutely agree, is that, it is kind of like that Drake meme. It's like, not godlike, it's Team India. And that's absolutely right, because these guys have got a lot of pressure riding on their shoulders. But similarly, because I was taking a look at some of the Hindi comments coming through, and there is actually a huge amount of support coming through from this team. Even sat down here in 16th at the moment, there is a massive amount of support being shown by the fans, which is just wonderful to see. And I think that they understand that this is time to get back to a global level. And yes, there have been setbacks, but I think Godlike isn't putting out a horrendous performance, right? It hasn't looked as if like they are just a non-plus in this lobby.
They aren't lost, right? It's good. It's good. And 22 points on 6 games. I mean, that's more than I'd get, to be fair. But
true.
That's not a very high bar to get over, to be fair, as well. But still, 22 points over 6 games. very much in conversation to be jumping up fairly far. I mean, all the way up to 10th, that's still within that range. Over those first 6 games, there's still 12 games left to play. They still have so much more time to adapt, to improve, to really put that work to the test.
Now, if I can say something maybe a little bit negative, but not too negative, more constructive, I'd say, because I do agree with Max in a way is that a lot of BGMI, a lot of that playstyle is very much stack heavy, right? You move around as a unit, you take team fights as a unit, and I think that is just a regional style. However, at the moment, even with that regional style, I do think Godlike's looking a little bit impatient at times. And I think if they change that, they would probably be quite the formidable team. We saw them take fights against Stalwart yesterday on Miramar, and they looked pretty good for it. There was just a little bit of that impatience, which left a lot on poor Jonathan's shoulders towards the end of that fight. And I think that fight could have gone a lot differently, personally. And this is why I say that they're not a non-plus. I mean, when you've got 16 of the best teams, someone has to be in 16th, and it's no marker of your particular skill. It is just the way of the game.
Kid trying to move through from the north side. They went all the way back up to Severny. Now it's like Jumper not going to have the best of luck there, going down. Getting eliminated. Kid still yet to make it in. Was pretty low on health as well. The next shift just about to come through, and it is the mainland, so no chicanery around those bridges.
Yeah, and this is why you see no one heading down towards that South Island. Like I said, that there are so many places on North Erangel where it's difficult to get the heel dug in, right? And that's what you absolutely need to do here. And if you give up those positions, someone's going to take it. Damn1 coming up on Godlike's position. There is a fair few players behind them. Clutchgod already goes down, though.
Oh, they're trading 1-for-1. Junie spraying around on the swivel, and Godlike fall at the hurdle. Damn1 Gaming only have 1 knock as well. Excellent hold there, excellent position, and great crossfires. I think we've seen that from them before in these garage buildings. The crossfires from Damn1 are so strong.
Exactly. Now, the thing is I can bring this back a little bit further again, and it's that impatience. You have Clutchgod in the building. You see Damn1 flit out from the left side. They have all 4 players on that building before you're even in contention. And at that point, there needs to be that step back from whoever is IGLing on the team at that time to say, we can afford to lose 1 player. And I think that, sacrifices do sometimes have to be made in these matches if you want to be making the most out of these points. Now, Godlike, respectable as it is, they do go down as a team every single time, but I would much prefer to see them as a 2. We saw Stalwart pull off something similar to that yesterday on Miramar, playing as a 2 and getting 5th place. That's actually quite a few placement points that you were accruing and getting that consistency on board, which is why I say that about Godlike. It's that their mechanical skill and rotations look strong, but it's sometimes that inability to pull back and look at the bigger picture.
SIXTWOEIGHT under fire from Nova, and the Infinity are right next to them on the hillsides as well. Newsy looking to put the nade on through. Daoshi out wide. Spots got Tony up the top, but doesn't drop him just yet. Newsy under threat, and he is just going to get rolled straight on over. A little bit too bold there from Newsy. And the Infinity lose a player, 628. They want to take this fight with the Infinity. They want to keep going. Nades up the top of God Tony and Logan. Up to bat against Daoshi. The nade over the top looks good, but across the way, Mela has the back of his teammates. And the Infinity might just survive for a little bit longer. Daoshi down.
Fantastic bloody angle here from Mela. I don't know how he got over this side, but he is tearing 628 apart as we speak. Daoshi hits the deck. Oh, that's a beautiful nade to finish it off. You can never really count the Infinity out, especially when they play these off angles so damn well. And now, 628 just down to 33Z in the shack all alone, and there's bullets coming in his direction. He's going to get pincered. I don't think he's long for this world.
The nades as well from Mela. Instrumental in that last engagement for the Infinity. 33Z's position is fully known now. Nades still sending on through. Maybe going to be able to post one of them, but the smoke is there, and the spray is good. Got Honey tickles him. 33Z pushes out the back, knows he needs to take one fight or other, and Mela's going to be the choice that he makes. 33Z out in the open, and is just going to get cut down. Mela, beautiful position, beautiful play. The Infinity very proud of that.
Yeah, that doesn't happen unless they have Mela involved in that fight. That should have been an easy team wipe for 628, but they didn't compensate for that player in the back. And who would, let's be realistic, who would compensate for a player over towards a shack on your backside and completely separate from the team? Damwon hit the Wizard Tower, but Nova hits here to receive them. And Junie from Jimmy just gets shot out from underneath the truck.
Oh no, 3 players already down. Junie is going to bleed out there, Fabian. No way of getting that one back up. Down1 Gaming, 3 players alive. Is it the cost that they were willing to pay for this center circle position? I mean, if you've got 1 player in there and nobody else now as the remaining players get swept up into the point tallies of other teams. Fabian, last player. Is it worth it, losing those 3 players to get this position? I got to think it isn't.
Absolutely not. Nice Molotov comes through as well and burns at Fabian's feet. See if he gets away from the burns on this one. But honestly, yeah, I wouldn't say it's worth it. It's worth it if you can get at least 3 players alive, because there's no hope in hell now that Fabian holds that alone. A7 coming against Next Ruya, so it's the Battle of the West here. A7 trying to put themselves back on top, but Next Ruya doing a good job of it. Frozen takes down 1. Again, A7's come into this fight with 3 after their little skirmish with Team Secret earlier on.
With an early knock against Next Ruya, that allowed Alpha 7 to even the numbers just that little bit. And now it's only Yekta left for Next Ruya. Mafioso gets that res onto Senatexa. Leo very close by, and actually they're taking shots over towards Furious Gaming as well on this northern side. And at the moment, Next Ruya really struggling. Frozen crawling back to the bunker. I think Korea might just figure out what's going on here. Or maybe not. He's more preoccupied with Dick Xavier.
Absolutely no idea what's going on at the moment from A7. They're
momentum untuk menyelamatkan seorang Yekta yang sekarang masih dalam keadaan knockdown, tetap yang lainnya juga nggak skala serunya. Ini kayaknya di pinggir-pinggir zona ya.
Betul.
Kali ini ada pertemuan antara Stalwart dan juga FB, di mana pemain-pemain dari FB yang lihat dari arah minimap ini, di bagian sebelah kanan map ini udah rame banget, bahkan udah ada rebellion juga. lihat chaos banget. Tiba-tiba lewat begitu saja di depan mata dan langsung tereliminasi satu persatu. Fenerbahce harus pulang ke arah lobby.
Betul sekali, sebuah tembakan komit yang diberikan dari mampu memulangkan satu tim lagi menuju ke bagian lobby dan masih bertahan untuk dua pemain dari Next Ruya yang kali ini kembali lagi mendapatkan satu persatu pemain dari Alpha 7 dan masih beradu dan bertahan. Frozen dan juga satu rekannya lagi masih bisa bertahan dan Yekta bahkan masih bisa untuk diselamatkan. Sebuah defensive power yang begitu bagus dari seorang Frozen.
Again and again, kita bisa melihat permainan kelas dunia yang sudah dipertontonkan ke hadapan kita semuanya dari arah bocil kematian ini.
Wow.
Frozen dari tim Next Ruya, tetapi nampaknya huru-hara juga masih akan terus-terusan terjadi. 10 tim masih bertahan, 31 pemain yang masih alive kali ini, di mana kita bisa melihat juga For Rivals berhadap-hadapan juga dengan lawan-lawannya yang lainnya. Navi pun juga begitu, mereka juga sudah mulai ditembakin satu persatu. Matic di belakang sana harus hati-hati banget karena HP-nya sudah terkikis cukup banyak.
Betul sekali, dan Navi bakal memfokuskan diri mereka untuk menghadapi Infinity yang ada di bagian kanan mereka. Menghadapi dua pemain Infinity itu ada granat yang cukup dekat dengan seorang Tixi, tapi masih bisa digocek dan dihindari tentunya karena ada datang follow up dari bagian belakang. Tixi mendapatkan bala bantuan dan sudah mulai ada dua, bahkan Matic sudah mulai menggerakkan mobilnya, sementara Meku di bagian bawah masih bertahan dan ada flank yang dibangun oleh seorang Matic menggerakkan sebuah buah bagi, sedikit melakukan intipan manja asmara, mendapatkan sebuah informasi bakal ada tembakan ke arah rumput, satu orang bakal dipulangkan ke arah lobby, masih mencari korban berikutnya. Hitmark bakal connect, bahkan kepala dari Logan juga berhasil mereka amankan dan Infinity kehilangan kembali satu persatu anggota mereka. Rata sudah Infinity, mereka pulang ke lobby dan tiba-tiba dari 10 tim, 6 tim tersisa.
Tiba-tiba ya, karena di sisi yang lainnya itu Next Ruya tadi bertemu dengan DX, terus DWG juga tereliminasi menyusul Next Ruya.
Betul.
Dan pastinya sekali lagi tinggal tersisa 6 tim saja. Dengan begitu Navi pun masih bisa kayak bernafas lega, mereka bisa narik nafas lagi untuk bisa reset dan juga rethink posisi mereka akan seperti apa untuk di circle kita selanjutnya. Yang lagi-lagi ini circle sebenarnya ya dari tadi cenderung mendonat loh Pasta.
Dan hanya menguntungkan satu tim, kalau gue perhatikan dari tadi menguntungkan terus-terusan ke arah For Rivals. Mereka nggak butuh bergerak dari tempat mereka karena circle yang bertuju ke arah mereka.
Di tengah-tengah sana ya. Sementara itu tim-tim yang lainnya yang berada di luar kali ini di pinggiran harus gontok-gontokan habis-habisan seperti halnya S2G dan juga DX, di mana Chelsea terknockdown dengan granat yang sudah dilontarkan oleh DX, tapi DX juga harus waspada karena granat balasan juga dilontarkan karena mereka semuanya ini akan menjadi perang granat antara DX dan juga S2G kali ini.
Ya, dan lihat pergerakan dari Lamborghini yang diam-diam membackstep, bahkan dia berhasil mendapatkan satu pemain yang ada di sebelah kanan. Satu persatu pemain dari S2G kembali diamankan oleh The Xavier kali ini, masih untuk mencoba kembali mendapatkan korban berikutnya juga. Rangki masih mengintip dari bagian atas dan lompatan malah membuat dia ketahuan. Frankie pun tumbang, mendapatkan satu. Threat talk kembali lagi terjadi dan Lamborghini yang bakal menjadi pilar terakhir 1v1 situation, dan Lamborghini terspot. Rata sudah satu tim saya kembali dipulangkan ke arah lobby.
Dan S2G kali ini masih bisa melanjutkan perjalanan mereka seperti halnya Navi, NGX dan juga For Rivals yang kali ini akan bertegur sapa menggunakan peluru-peluru panas mereka sedari tadi, di mana ada salah satu pemain juga dari Nigma Galaxy yang masih dalam keadaan ter-knockdown. Sementara itu For Rivals pun juga melakukan fokusnya, melakukan spot on mereka ke arah tim Nova. Ini dia tim yang sekarang masih menduduki posisi kedua atau rank kedua untuk di klasemen sementara ini, dan juga menjadi salah satu tim yang punya chance untuk bisa menjadi back-to-back champion dari PMGC.
Dan gua rasa kalau misalkan mereka bisa bertahan ya, dengan kondisi pemain mereka saat ini yang masih berempat, mereka bisa langsung membalap poin dari Next Ruya yang ada di peringkat pertama dengan 80 total poin, berarti poin dari Next Ruya sementara ini. Tapi lihat pergerakan dari Navi, mereka berusaha untuk mendetek tempat dari For Rivals, dua orang berhasil mereka amankan, bakal terabas saja smoke yang ada di depan mereka, tapi dari seorang Tixi masih bersabar, tidak terlalu yolo untuk menabrak ke pertahanan dari For Rivals karena pemburu sedang menjadi ninja, bersabar untuk menghadapi 4 pemain dari Navi. Granat Molotov sudah mulai dilemparkan, sepertinya bakal mengkonfirm satu elimination yang ada di bagian belakang sebuah kendaraan, masih bisa merangkak naik ke atas melihat lawan yang berbeda. Kali ini bertemu dengan S2G kali ini bakal dihadapi oleh tim Navi. Mereka bakal fokus ke arah 3 tim yang berbeda, mereka menjadi sebuah pemangsa di atas sebuah perbukitan. Mereka memulangkan Nigma bersecara lobby. Kill demi kill sudah mereka kumpulkan, dan kali ini pemburu bakal terspot dan front shoot counter yang bisa membuat Navi bertahan 11 elimination. 3 tim tersisa kali ini.
Oh my god, Natus Finzer kali ini benar-benar menggila di game pertama kita, dan bahkan mereka kali ini juga masih bisa bertahan karena dari sekali tim Slay to Slay Gaming tereliminasi dan Navi akan menghadapi Nova di endgame kita kali ini.
Battle N ya.
Battle N. NV dan juga NV juga.
Betul,
sama
NV
ya?
dan NV kali ini bakal berhadapan di pada 4 lawan 3 karena Navi sudah kehilangan satu anggota mereka. Granat dilemparkan membatasi pergerakan dari Nova, tapi Nova begitu percaya diri langsung naik ke bagian atas sebelum Navi yang mengontrol tempat tersebut.
Betul sekali, dan kali ini pastinya mereka akan benar-benar memikirkan dengan matang-matangnya banget bagaimanakah mereka akan mengeksekusi endgame mereka kali ini, di mana satu dari pemain tim Navi juga mengamankan posisi mereka masing-masing. Sementara itu para boy juga akan diutus sebagai backliner dari tim Nova, yang di mana salah satu pemain dari tim Nova knockdown posisinya order kali ini, dan bahkan
Lihat
order pun
Kitsune,
juga
Dona.
langsung tereliminasi.
Lihat Kitsune yang membackstep dari bagian kiri. Pertahanan dari Nova kali ini bakal kocar-kacir, daripada Kitsune benar-benar memberikan pergerakan yang tidak diduga-duga. Para boy belum kelihatan low HP dari para boy, dia harus bergerak kembali karena dia berada di barisan blue zone. Tentunya blue zone bakal bergerak dan para boy juga terspot. Kembali lagi hilang satu anggota dari Nova. Navi unggul dari segi jumlah dengan 3 pemain mereka saat ini. Tinggal menghadapi Jimmy dan juga seorang King. 2 pemain Nova yang tersisa. Dixie ada di barisan paling depan dan Jimmy berhasil diamankan. Langsung standing kali ini King yang ada di balik sebuah smoke bakal dicari di mana Meiku masih mencari jiggle tipis saja. Pro dengan begitu sabar dan Kitsune bisa memberikan follow up nya juga dari arah kanan setupnya Navi saat ini, dan itu dia winner chicken dinner untuk Navi di game yang pertama dengan jumlah elimination yang begitu fantastis.
Fantastis banget kali ini, yang dimana kita bisa melihat nantinya jumlah elimination point pasti dari tim Navi ada berapa, yang pastinya
Gila,
double
baik
digit ya,
banget.
belasan kita kali ini, kalau nggak salah 15 deh.
Tadi 11-4 harusnya 15.
15 harus.
Antara 15 atau 16 elimination yang dikumpulkan oleh Navi di game yang pertama, berarti kalau 15 mereka mendapatkan 30 total poin.
Betul ya, dari placement juga 15, tapi congratulations untuk tim Navi, ini dia 15 total
15.
elimination point berhasil mereka kantongi untuk kali ini, dan ini adalah winner chicken dinner kedua yang sudah diamankan oleh tim Natus Vincer, dan
Betul.
pastinya rekan kita yaitu Eldoge sedang tersenyum lebar saat ini.
Iya, itu lagi bener-bener tersenyum banget karena sekarang Eldoge juga lagi nonton bareng.
Betul.
Tadi kan habis ada acara gathering community untuk PUBG Mobile gitu ya, dan mereka juga melanjutkan untuk acara malamnya dengan nonton bareng di tempat mereka saat ini. Ini harusnya menjadi kabar indah untuk Eldoge karena Navi mendapatkan WBCD, dan ini progresnya cukup bagus. Ini kedua kalinya Navi mendapatkan WBCD di grand final. Kemarin mereka mendapatkan 10 elimination, sekarang mendapatkan 15 elimination, berarti progresnya grafiknya naik.
Grafiknya naik.
Grafiknya
Dan
naik.
apalagi mapnya tuh beda semua.
Ya,
Kemarin
betul.
di Miramar, sekarang di Erangel gitu. Jadi kayak mereka benar-benar terlihat bisa menguasai kedua map ini dengan baik banget gitu.
Dan tadi ya kalau nggak salah itu Navi di leaderboard ada di peringkat ke-8. Sekarang mereka mendapatkan 30 poin, berarti ada 72 total poin yang mereka bawa. Harusnya ini mampu membuat mereka antara di peringkat ketiga atau di peringkat keempat atau bahkan bisa di peringkat kedua.
Ah iya betul-betul. Pokoknya tadi terakhir ya, kan kita bisa melihat live rank-nya juga
Betul.
di sebelah kanan dari layar kaca kita. Itu terakhir kali sebelum ke endgame, Navi udah bisa langsung naik ke posisi
Kayaknya
top
udah
5.
naik dari 8 ke 5 deh tadi, 5 atau
Iya,
4 gitu.
Top 5 udah naik top 5 gitu. Jadi kayak ini benar-benar performance yang luar biasa banget dari tim Navi sendiri, dan pastinya dengan memenangkan game pertama, game pembuka di hari kedua ini akan menjadikan ini adalah boostingan mental untuk Navi sendiri. Tetapi pastinya kalian penasaran dong hasil akhir dari match pertama kita di Erangel seperti apa? Ini dia 30 total poin sudah dikantongi oleh Navi, menyusul di bawahnya ada S2G atau Slay to Slay Gaming 21 total poin.
Betul, 21 total poin. Di bawahnya lagi ada Nova dengan 19 total poin, Forevils dengan 11. Ini Forevils menurut gua cukup pintar cara bermain dia, karena circle selalu menguntungkan karena Forevils itu nggak buat mereka repot untuk bergerak ke arah zona-zona berikutnya. Dengan 3 elimination dan juga placement 8, ini menurut gue cukup bagus untuk hasil yang didapatkan oleh Forevils. Dan apakah dengan hasil Navi mendapatkan BBCD ini, kita bakal melihat tadi yang kita omongin di awal-awal.
Apa tuh?
4 tim dengan inisial N ada di barisan papan atas.
Oh iya juga ya, kayaknya bakal deh Pak. Ini ya, aduh si paling cenayang deh berpasta. Tapi anyway kita bisa melihat terlebih dahulu ya MVP of the match kita, yaitu ada Matic dari Navi atau Matic 666 atau 666 kita kali ini. 7 elimination point berhasil untuk diberikan oleh Matic ke arah tim Navi.
Damage-nya tuh 1024. Ini gokil banget, kayak semua apa yang ada di depan dia tuh dia tembak baru dia infoin. Biasanya kan orang infoin dulu baru nembak. Ini dia tembak dulu. Kalau Sunscreen nggak nembak, nggak nginfoin.
Iya.
Dia diam. Dan ini dia Don. Update-nya ternyata terjadi. Nova, next Ruya, lalu ada Navi dan Nigma. Top 4 dengan inisial N ada di overall leaderboard kita saat ini benar-benar terjadi.
Benar-benar terjadi, dan kali ini Nova of course ya dengan finishnya dari tim Next Ruya di awal, di tengah-tengah pertandingan tadi mereka harus turun, dan Nova lah yang sekarang merajai overall ranking kita kali ini. Dan wah itu sih gue jadi Nova ya, kayak aduh back to back depan mata gitu ya, walaupun masih banyak.
Itu dua-duanya back to back loh.
Iya.
Dua-duanya maksudnya kayak dua tim yang kalau misalkan mereka WWCD itu adalah WWCD kedua mereka kan.